Speaker, I just want to enter into the record my statement on a bill that I believe forces government to decide for legal age adults while further constricting free enterprise. Mr. Speaker, as the author of the bill, I still maintain that this bill clearly strips away yet another individual liberty of adult U.S. citizens who live right here on Guam. However, the tipping point for me was when I learned that through testimony to Youth Congress and Youth for Youth, in addition to my own 18-year-old daughter, just informing me yesterday morning that she too would support a bill such as 9-34 if she was a senator. But I still think it's important for me to state for the record that if we're concerned about adults abusing their bodies and infringing upon the rights of others, I don't believe you place greater impositions upon the many in hopes that we correct the behavior of a few or even one person. If you're concerned that a person of a certain legal age is legally responsible to do some things and not others, you don't discern which things he or she can do and attempt to regulate that piecemeal. Rather, like the education system, let us treat the whole child. But the difference here is that we're not talking about children, Mr. Speaker. No, we're talking about adults. In this case, we're talking about an attack on a legal framework that allows for persons 18 or older to drive a car, to own a home, to marry, to have children, carry a weapon in defense of a nation, and at the legal age of 18 in some states and jurisdictions, my fellow American, to run for office and govern a people. So if our own modern democratic society has chosen to empower those 18 to 21-year-olds to govern others, but we can't trust them to exercise the rule of law upon themselves, to choose between what's right or what's wrong, then what is it? What is it we're trying to say, Mr. Speaker? What's the message? If we're concerned that there is a grave social ill right here on Guam, then I encourage us to address the cause of the ill holistically and in its totality. For myself, I refuse to believe that it's merely the presence of this vice, a product, that drives one to simply want to pick it up, and on the other extreme think that when you reach a certain age that you're going to stop at that certain age. At the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, I support an individual's right to make a decision for themselves, to have the freedom to choose and the legal responsibility at 18 to knowingly determine when you can consume what you consume, when you want to consume it, and to also know and have the responsibility of the benefits and the risks that come with that, whether it's health, whether it's your financial risk, safety, or even your own life. I don't smoke. I don't condone smoking. My adult children don't smoke. My 2 minor children don't smoke. And there isn't a tobacco product in my household. And I have to state for the record that I decry any attempt for government to strip away one's liberty to choose for themselves as a duly recognized adult citizen of the United States. Instead, I subscribe to the thought that our children, young adults, or perhaps the author himself can be influenced by the environment. And the environment from those units of measurement is what we must use to take action, namely the home and the community. And if this is the case, that the home, specifically parenting, is one of those greatest predictors of usage and ultimately addiction of tobacco or alcohol or any other item, then let's start there. I'm a father of 4, and I take responsibility, Mr. Speaker, for what happens in my household and for those under my love and care. When my child steps out of line at school, I don't blame the teacher. I certainly don't blame his peers. I blame me. And I do what I need to do to reinforce the lessons of discipline and respect for authority. That's what I do in my house. Similarly, when I don't make wise decisions, Mr. Speaker, like a speeding ticket, I don't blame society. You know, the other night, Mr. Speaker, there was a gentleman who rose before the entire island community and stated that we are in an era of individual responsibility. I can accept that. It's a call to action that universally applies not just to tobacco or alcohol, but to other challenges facing our community. Abuse, theft, crimes against man, and crimes against even the environment. And although I am in support of the measure, It's because a generation has spoken out to petition this body to take action. I am still compelled to suggest that if your principled position, Mr. Speaker, is one based upon the health argument, upon the fragility of the body in its still forming stages between 18 and 21, then what of other things that kill us at a much younger age? What of sugar, sodas, candy, salt-related products, those other items containing other harmful ingredients? Do we not care to apply the same logic? Listen, don't get me wrong. I don't condone the use of tobacco at any age. But you won't see me leverage government to go against an entire legal framework, piecemealing governance. Stop this. No, stop that. Okay, let's do this. Let's encourage that. So I ask our representative members of this legislature, I entreat you, I encourage you, I challenge you to work with these advocacy and behavioral organizations to address the heart of the problem going forward, the core predictors of usage and addiction, social economic status, social bonding, social learning. Students, advocates, parents, everyone and anyone listening, while I stand on the side of individual choice, I am in this fight with you. I think these people behind me know that. I have the brochures, I've passed them out, and I will continue to pass out the brochures at our mobile offices and anywhere we go. But please know that my position on the measure is this. If it were not for a large segment of the affected population to speak out via their governance structures, namely the Guam Youth Congress and Youth for Youth, know that I will not have otherwise used this senatorial seat to leverage power of this body, power which further forces government to decide for legal age adults and which, in my opinion, continues to freely restrict free enterprise. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.